fans abandoning the franchise. If you want a lesson in how to kill a franchise that defined the cultural zeitgeist for generations, well, just look no further than Disney's Star Wars. Through sheer incompetence, insufferable actors, and inexcusable fan bashing, Star Wars has become a shell of its former self. The final nail in the cinematic coffin is, without a doubt, The Acolyte, a show that even the so-called showrunners admit wasn't even based off Star Wars. Well, that's no surprise there, because it isn't Star Wars. Buckle up, kids. We're about to make the jump to hyperspace. For nearly 3 generations, Star Wars has been the defining cinematic sci-fi saga by which all others are measured. But recently, it's become the cinematic show that is a cautionary tale of hubris and incompetence. It all began with The Force Awakens, a lazy rehash of A New Hope featuring a Mary Sue and a cast of forgettable, poorly written characters. It was quickly followed up by The Last Jedi, a film that director Rian Johnson claimed would subvert my expectations. Well, congratulations, Rian. You subverted my expectations. I was expecting a decent movie, and instead, I got a load of crap. Right on the heels of that cinematic sideshow was Solo, a Star Wars story, a film that, while not inherently bad, suffered from both mediocre writing and backlash from fans still pissed about The Last Jedi. Topping it off was The Rise of Skywalker, J.J. Abrams' convoluted attempt at a mulligan on the saga that only deepened a Death Star-sized rift between the fans and the franchise. Meanwhile, on the streaming side of things, Disney cranked out flop after galactic flop as though someone had double dog dared them to suck. It started with the book of Boba Fett. With this show, I was expecting The Godfather in space and instead got a high school production of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Oh yeah, and Boba Fett doing this. Okay. Then, there was Ahsoka, or as I like to call it, 465 minutes of emotional constipation. Let's not forget Obi-Wan Kenobi, a laughable disregard for Star Wars canon and further disrespect to the fanbase who gave this dumpster fire a chance. I hated that show so much I didn't even bother finding a clip for this video. Which brings us to the granddaddy of all Disney debacles, The Acolyte. Honestly, I barely watched the show. I knew enough from reading the reviews and watching YouTube critics, reviewing the synopsis, and struggling not to lose brain cells while watching online clips to know that it sucked. You don't have to watch a train wreck happen to know that it was bad. The wreckage is everywhere, and with The Acolyte, the wreckage is strewn far and wide. According to Forbes, the misfire of The Acolyte cost Disney $180 million. Now, I don't know about you, but if I lost my company $180 million, I wouldn't be working for them anymore. Hell, I'd at least be on the hook for recouping the $180 mil. Forbes went on to describe The Acolyte as the most disappointing entry in the franchise history. Damn! And if you need any further proof of this disaster, just take a look at The Acolyte's Rotten Tomatoes score. The fans have spoken. It wasn't all doom and gloom at the House of Mouse. There were a few gems like Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Personally, in my opinion, the only decent standalone Star Wars film to date. Seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau's noble attempt to save a dying IP, and Andor, a slow burn with some spectacular character development. Seriously, check it out. So what's the reason for the abysmal numbers and slow bleed of fans? Well, if you ask the executives and filmmakers at Lucasfilm, it's us, the fans. We're to blame for rejecting the woke themes, identity politics, and subpar writing that have plagued the franchise with each new installment. Look, you can have characters that are straight, gay, bi, or trans, but unless their sexuality is central to the plot, as in the case of the phenomenally written Philadelphia, starring Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, it really should take a backseat to, no, I don't know, the story. At this point, I have to give a shout out to Gary Beekler, host of the popular YouTube channel Nerdrotic. Gary put it so eloquently this way when he said, quote, "You can convey any message you want when your focus is on the story. You cannot have good storytelling when your focus is the message." Words to create by Gary. And if you guys want to hear more from Nerdrotic, I put a link to Gary's channel in the description. If you like what I have to say, you're gonna love him. I guarantee it. The truth is, Star Wars fans are neither misogynistic, homophobic, racist, or bigoted. We're not haters. We simply want a good story, well told, that honors the source material while respecting the fan base. If Lucasfilm would just give us that, it's likely they wouldn't be feeling the heat they are right now. So who are the real culprits here? the true agents of the dark side. Well, there's the usual suspect, of course, Kathleen Kennedy, the current CEO of Lucasfilm and the proverbial architect of the franchise's destruction, a woman who, for the last 10 years, has run the franchise into the ground with seemingly gleeful abandon. But look, we all know her transgressions at this point, and quite frankly, I'm tired of beating that dead horse. But what about her minions? People like Rian Johnson, a man who decided to write his own version of Star Wars because he thought he knew better, and subverted expectations to the point of parody. Then there's Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslie Headland, the current showrunner of The Acolyte, a woman who not only obviously has no idea how to write a Star Wars story, but who openly admitted that she doesn't even want any writers in her writer's room that know Star Wars.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
So let me get this straight. They put a woman in charge of a franchise who wants writers that have no knowledge of the franchise. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I can hear some of you warming up your keyboards already. Oh, James, why do you care? It's just a stupid sci-fi franchise. Because it's our stupid sci-fi franchise. The fans of Star Wars who've cherished it for decades, suddenly we've had it ripped from our hands and told it doesn't belong to us anymore by people who never understood it and despise its origins. It's like a schoolyard bully came along and kicked sand in our faces, grabbed our toy spaceship, smashed it to pieces, and told us we couldn't play with it anymore. Star Wars has always been the property of us true fans who have lovingly and respectfully played in the sandbox George Lucas built. We created an extended universe filled with living, breathing characters told through actual diverse stories. It was our escape, ours, and we reveled in the magic of its mythology. We are the true custodians of George's vision, and we'd kind of like to have it back. To those showrunners, executives, actors, journalists, and so-called fans who say otherwise, you guys can all make like a hungry sarlacc and bite me. So what do you guys think? Is the Star Wars franchise done and dusted? Or is there a new hope on the horizon? And if so, what do you guys think that is? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to poke that like and subscribe button, and double tap that notification bell so you never miss out on another video just like this one. And until next time, my fellow freaks and geeks, y'all stay nerdy out there. Deuces.